There's been a little bit of a cold going around the gym. So today, the coach, James, was sick. He didn't come in. He wasn't well enough to teach the class, but he said, hey guys, we still have the mat time. So if you guys want to go in and practice and do like a little bit of training, do whatever you want, you're more than welcome to go in and just train. So a few of us decided, hey, we'll just go in anyway. We'll do a little bit of rolling, see what happens, get the hours in, you know what I mean? So yeah, there was four of us at the gym today, which, not many people, but enough to, practice and have a couple of rolls. So we got in, started doing a couple stretches. I've noticed my back is like really stiff. And that's kind of strange because I can do an ATG squat, an ass to grass squat with weight. And like that's pretty flexible. But my back during jiu-jitsu is getting really, really tight. And I think that that's due to me not being used to lifting my legs off the ground with my back on the mat. I think I have to, work on some flexibility there and really, learn how to engage my core when I'm lifting my legs off the mat. It's just something I'm not used to. So I think that's probably the reason why my back's getting pretty stiff. But I'm finding that that's something that's happening quite a lot during these sessions. So hopefully, stretching that out, doing a little bit of exercise to sort of target the lower back is probably going to be a good thing to do. So since there was no coach today, we thought, hey, why don't we just try passing each other's guard? Like that would be a good thing to do. Yeah. We could always, improve our guard retention. So why don't we just try to pass each other's guard? So this is Barney. He's actually my identical twin brother, which is interesting. It's been really good doing the jiu-jitsu journey with him because we're both at the same level, and it's like, good to have, sibling rivalry there where we can kind of progress together and keep each other on each other's toes. But I'm a little bit heavier than him, so that should be an advantage, but he's still pretty good at passing my guard. So he's definitely like a worthy contender. So anyway, we started by passing each other's guard, and I'm trying to keep my foot here on his hip so that he can't move around. More points of connection, the better. So I tend to always go for that double lapel grip there. It's a very strong grip, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to really pull him in to the guard, and once I've closed the guard, then I guess I win, and we'll try again. But he's trying really hard to keep his posture up. I think I've broken his posture pretty well right now. And then I tried to grab that leg and do a little bit of a sweep, but he did a pretty good job of shutting that down. So yeah, I think guard retention is just one of those things that you can always get a little bit better at. And my guard retention isn't amazing, but there you go. He did that back step there, and that was pretty much over for me then. Straight into side control after that back step. So I think I really have to work on my guard retention and get better and better. So here's round 2. I'm trying to pass his guard now. My technique when I try to pass guard is I really just try to pressure pass, So I just kind of get all my weight on top of the person and then try to get around the leg. And you see that worked out pretty well here. With someone who's like a colored belt or, someone who's a bit more experienced, that doesn't tend to work because what I've found is what they'll do is they'll pull me into their guard and just wrap their legs around me, So, and they'll use their body to like shift from side to side depending on which side I'm trying to push my weight. And generally speaking, that'll just, work against me eventually because they'll just shift their body weight and pull me into their guard. So what we're doing is we're basically trying to pass each other's guard, and then we take a little bit of a break and kind of like review the footage, see what it looks like from the outside. Because when you're rolling and you're in the heat of the moment, you always feel like you're kind of doing stuff right, and then when you take a step back and actually look at the footage, you go, gee, oh my god, that's a problem here and that's a problem there, and you kind of realize like all the holes in your game. Something I've noticed I'm doing, which I think is the right thing to do, is I'm always trying to keep my top knee as a knee shield once I'm being threatened with the guard pass. So once Barney pushes my knee down and I'm kind of on one shoulder on the side, I try to use the top knee to keep a knee shield there so he can't pass the guard. And that feels like that's been pretty effective so far. But I really like that top lapel grip to break the posture. That kind of feels pretty natural to me, and it feels like it's a pretty good way to kind of stop them from running around you really fast. Yeah, there's that top knee there. That feels good. Like once I have that frame and that top knee in, I feel like I can kind of swing around if they're not too fast. But I think my problem here is that I'm not actually stiff arming. Once I've got that top knee in, I think I really need to stiff arm the guy and make sure that he doesn't like keep going round and around. Because as you see here, I wasn't stiff arming, and Barney ended up in almost a north-south position here. And now this is well and truly the guard pass. So yeah, that felt pretty good. I feel like I defended that for like a good amount of time. So pretty pleased with that. But I definitely think that stiff arm to sort of reinforce the knee shield is a little bit of a problem. So I think next time I'm going to focus on making sure that stiff arm remains pretty stiff. But yeah, man, like I've been really enjoying doing jiu-jitsu, and making these videos is really, I think, motivating me to stay consistent, even though I think I'd stay consistent anyway. Like, it's just good to be able to document what's happening. And I just fell over then. That wasn't like me trying to do a move. I just lost my footing there. But this is Ricardo. I would say he's probably the most experienced jiu-jitsu player in the gym that I'm going at, apart from, of course, the coach. But he's really good at doing leg locks. So whenever I'm trying to pass his guard, I have to be really conscious of him grabbing my legs, because he really knows what he's doing with the leg lock stuff. And with the other white belts in the gym, it doesn't really feel like your legs are ever that threatened, because it kind of feels like the leg locking stuff is kind of more of an advanced sort of move. But when it comes to Ricardo, it feels like leg locks are kind of what he prefers to go for. So whenever he's passing my guard or anything like that, I always have to worry about him getting the legs. Oh, you can hear me. You can hear that I have a cold now, so I probably won't be going to jiu-jitsu for a few days, just so that I don't get anyone else sick, but also just so I can recover and stuff and make sure that I can hit the ground running when I go again. So there he is. He passed my guard, and I think with that problem, the same problem this time was I didn't stiff arm when he was circling around. And I didn't kind of maintain that guard frame. I've seen on some YouTube videos with tips about passing the guard, that if you have your elbows and your knees touching each other, there's actually no way someone can pass your guard, because there's no holes, there's no way through. And like, whether it's difficult to get my elbows away from my knees, probably not that difficult to do that. But as long as my knees and elbows are actually touching, then technically speaking, my guard isn't passed. I think that's sort of the general premise. So here we go. This is what I was talking about before. This is Ricardo just locking up my legs. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'll pass his guard. I'll grab his knees and walk around. But before I even get a chance to grab his gi, I'm already in a leg lock. So that's pretty much what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to like keep my weight over the top of him, because I think my only chance of surviving this is and there it is. If he doesn't get his foot in front of me like he just did there, I think I would have been okay. But yeah, I don't think, I think he could have easily finished the leg lock there, even though I span out. It feels to me like he let me out of that one. So fair enough. That was definitely trouble for me. But yeah, as far as passing Ricardo's guard, the leg lock, that seems to be something I need to figure out how to get around. So yeah, after we did that, we started to do some proper rolling now, and this is my favorite part of jiu-jitsu, honestly, because I do have a little bit of a competitive spirit, especially like when me and my brother are rolling. As you might imagine, twin brothers, there's always going to be a kind of competition element to what we're doing, even though it might not be like the most crazy hard rolling that you can ever imagine. It's still like it's always nice to get the tap, so it's really fun to roll with my brother, and we're pretty much the same level. We pretty much tap each other each half the time, so it's always very competitive and it's always very close. But pretty much what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get into side control. Side control, it feels to me like my strongest position, and I think that's probably to do with the fact that I'm quite a heavy person, about 100 kilograms. So if I can get a tight side control, I feel like a lot of the time I can really hold that side control and keep it locked in. But he wasn't giving up the side control that easy, so I went all the way to north-south, and from here I don't really know so many different submissions from here, but once you're in north-south, you're not so far away from side control. And what I'm really trying to do here is stay away from his legs, because if he can get his knee in, then I haven't really passed the guard at all. So north-south kind of feels a little bit like a good place to be, and then once I've worn him down, tied him out a little bit, go into side control, and from there I'm pretty good. So here I am attacking the Americana, and it's pretty much here where I get the tap, and that's the round over. So yeah, north-south, I'm not too worried if I'm in north-south. As long as I'm past the legs, then I'm pretty good. So, okay, here's the next roll. This is me and Ricardo. And me and Ricardo rolled a few times. I would definitely say that Ricardo's quite a bit better than me. He's quite more experienced. And his leg locks are just, I haven't really had time to figure out how to defend against those. So if he decides to do a leg lock on me, I'm pretty much screwed. So we did a couple of rolls here. I would say he catches me probably 3 out of 4 times, and then maybe 1 out of 4 times if I can avoid the leg lock. Sometimes I catch him like 1 out of 4 times. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get past the guard, but what he wants to do now is he wants to pull both my lapels and get both of his legs around. So I'm just trying to I don't know if you'd call it a turtle, but I'm like turtling away from his guard. And I don't really know what happened here, but I managed to somehow get past his legs. I think he put his legs down for a second, and I just jumped into side control. And now that I'm in side control, I'm pretty comfortable here. He does have the ability to bring his knee in and get me into half guard. I have noticed that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my legs pretty tight. I'm attacking the Americana here. So I think I might actually get this Americana here just because I'm sort of flopping right on top of him. And yeah, there it is. That's the Americana. So the Americana. That's right. That's the name of it. That was the 1 out of 4. But you're about to see the 3 out of 4 where Ricardo decides to leg lock me. So what I thought here, I was like, okay, I'll play guard. This is a bit of a guard session. I'll see if I can, have a go at playing guard against Ricardo. And so that's why I didn't stand up here. I just kind of sat down, and I always, I prefer to kind of keep one arm back and one arm forward, but I think that's actually a mistake. And what he did was he pushed me over there and went straight into the arm bar and tapped me in like 2 seconds. I thought as soon as he got that second leg over my head, there's no point trying to struggle. I'm getting arm barred here. So I tapped early, but yeah, that was a very unexpected, but very impressive jump into armbar. So that was really cool. So then we thought, yeah, that was good. Let's do one more. But I was kind of shook by that by that armbar. I was kind of like amazed by it. So we were just talking for a second about how he did that and how all of that worked. But yeah, that was really cool. So well done, Ricardo. So this is the final one we did, and the first thing Ricardo did was jump guard, which really took me by surprise. And I actually fell down to my knees. So now that I'm in guard, this is a dangerous position for me to be in Ricardo's guard because he has very flexible legs, and he's trying to triangle me here, and I'm trying so hard to keep my head out of the triangle lock, and I just managed by the skin of my teeth to not get triangled there. So we're now back in the closed guard again, which is a very uncomfortable position for me with Ricardo because his guard is very tight, and I find it very difficult to break his guard. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to stay really heavy on him, not really give him any of my arms, not give him any opportunity to, isolate one of my arms and then use his flexible legs to put me in some kind of, triangle or armbar situation. But you can tell he's going side to side and he's kind of shifting his body to see if he can get maybe an armbar or a triangle opportunity. But it's working out. Like, I'm just trying to stay as heavy as possible, and for now I'm surviving. But rolling with Ricardo is really different to rolling with Barney. And that's something that I've noticed on this journey, is that it's really important to roll with as many people as possible. Like, you really learn a lot of different stuff from the different people in your gym. Like, you'll have some really short but really strong guys, or a really tall lanky person, and rolling with girls is different too, because often they're way more flexible than the guys, things like that. So I've definitely learned that I should be trying to roll with as many people as possible. So I tried to roll today with Barney and Ricardo and Samina, who you see in the background, who's actually a gold medalist, so she's really tough. And we roll together in a second. So here's me trying to avoid the triangle, but then Ricardo gets me in an omoplata position here. And what I should have done is rolled forwards, but what I did is just flop onto my belly instead. So I didn't realize in time that rolling forward was the right thing to do. But yeah, really good rolls. Thanks, Ricardo, for rolling with me. I think what I've learned from rolling with Ricardo is that I should be really trying to use my legs more and get more flexible in the hips, so that I can throw those, the omoplata or the triangle, or all of those different moves like that. Because what I've really been doing as a beginner in this sport is relying a lot on my strength. I have quite a bit of experience lifting weights. I'm quite a strong person. I can bench press like 100 kilograms, so I have some strength there. And so I've been really relying on kind of muscling my way around the place. And that, now that I've been doing this stuff for a few months, and I'm, playing jiu-jitsu with other people who've been doing it, for like a year or two, or a few months to a year or two, my extra strength that I might have over people is not as useful as it would be rolling with an absolute beginner. And you'll see that with Samina. She is very, very strong, but she's got really great technique too. So I'm having a lot of trouble getting out of the guard, And I thought to myself, like when I'm rolling with someone now, on that note, I should be just matching their strength. I shouldn't be trying to muscle my way around the mat. I should just say, okay, I'm rolling with someone who's this strength. If maybe I have a little bit more strength than that, but what I really should be doing in this situation is trying to use my technique as much as possible. So in this roll, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm grabbing the lapel, and then if Samina tries to break the lapel, with both her hands, for example, I'll just let go. I'm not going to try to like, muscle my way through this battle. So yeah, I'm just trying to match the strength and make sure that I'm using technique. So you'll see in this fight that I'm in guard for quite a lot of the time, because what I'm trying to do here is I'm really trying to feel my way around and say, okay, now is the time to do a sweep, or now is the time to do a sweep, and then really learn and nail down the opportune moments to do a sweep. And now that she's kind of got the straight posture here, she's sitting up really straight, I'm thinking to myself, okay, straight posture, maybe I could do an old man sweep, or maybe I could do the flower sweep that was in the last episode. So I'm really just trying to kind of wait until I get that opportune moment, and go, hey, let's do the sweep right now, and hopefully get it. So yeah, we're just now trying to fight for grips. And here's that sweep I was just talking about, and I nearly failed it. I was like, if she'd have just pushed with like one more Newton of force, I would not have got that sweep. So that was seriously a clutch sweep. And after that, I said, hey, we're probably out of the camera view now, so we should go reset. But yeah, that sweep is exactly what I'm talking about. And I think my attitude towards training, when I'm trying to have an attitude towards training, is that training is for training. It's not for like trying to beat everyone, because there's people in this class who are obviously like able to beat me most of the time or all of the time, and I'm not going to get better just trying to like smash my way as hard as I can through everybody using strength. What I really need to do is I need to like critically look at what I'm doing and try to get better that way. So one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on over the next few weeks is opening up my hips and getting a lot more hip flexibility, because I think that now that I know that I am a guard puller and I like to play from the bottom, if I can really open up my hips and give myself the opportunity to attack from the bottom position, then I'll be a lot better of a guard player. And I think one of the main advantages that people have who are flexible is playing from the bottom, because you really need flexible legs. And there's a cool sweep I just did there that I saw on the internet, where if the person in your guard is standing up with their legs horizontally, up like perpendicular to you, you can just grab their ankles and kind of hip bump them, and sometimes if you're lucky you can get all the way to mount from there. So that's something I try to do. And whenever Samina stands up on one knee to start, breaking down my guard, I'm making sure that I grab her ankle and pulling her back down. I remember a couple of lessons ago, James, the coach, told us, if you want to stand up in someone's guard, it's really important that you isolate the arm that's going to grab your leg and sweep you. That's kind of the first step. Otherwise, as soon as you stand up on one leg, they're going to grab your leg and they're going to pull you back down. And then really you've just wasted your energy trying to stand up. So I'm making sure that if she stands up on the one leg like that, I'm going to try to grab that leg and pull her back down again. But you can see she grabbed my arm that time, and now she's breaking out of the guard. And here we go. I think she breaks my guard now, and maybe goes into side control or something like that. But what I should be doing here is sweeping. Here we go. Yeah. So I saw the opportunity to off balance and sweep there, and try a new position. I thought, yeah, maybe I'll go into side control here, and try working for something in side control. Something that she did a really great job of here is lifting that leg up so that I couldn't immediately go into mount. You see that I tried to go into mount, but her leg sort of stopped there until I pushed it down, and then I went straight into mount. So what I would normally try to do here is just isolate the arm, kind of muscle the arm down to the mat, but pushing it more to the side. If you push it to the side rather than straight down, you don't need to use a terrible amount of strength to do that. But I just had to remind myself, like, don't use too much strength. Just try to use technique here, and try to, do these techniques the jiu-jitsu way rather than like the muscle way. So Samina's doing a really good job of kind of keeping either both arms up or both arms down. So I couldn't, like shuffle my leg through, maybe get a triangle. And she was doing a good job of framing and like kind of pulling me around. But I was making sure that, yeah, like I say, I wasn't trying to muscle around too much, and just trying to playing the field today, because we've been rolling now probably for like 8 or 9 minutes, so we're both pretty tired, and I'm just trying to like use as much technique as I can and just better my jiu-jitsu. I think one of the things that like is really easy to do when you join a new gym is think to yourself, okay, I'm in a new gym, I have to try really hard to at least beat a few people so that I can sort of establish myself in the ranks of this jiu-jitsu gym. And I don't think that's like the right way to go about things. I think the thing you should try to do is to just, run the techniques, get better at the techniques. If you roll with someone, do your best to do the best jiu-jitsu you have. And if you win, then who cares? Like, you're getting better, and it's about your personal journey, not like who you can beat that day, you know. So that's something I have to like keep reminding myself of. But as I become more comfortable, like in a new gym setting, I think it's like easier to kind of feel that way, and you learn about the people, and like you become friends with them and all that kind of thing. So that becomes more of an easy thing to do. So now I'm just trying to play guard, trying to keep that top knee in as always. I think that's a really strong thing to do when you're in the guard and you're on one of your sides. If you can keep the top knee as a knee shield, I think they call that a knee shield. I could be wrong. I think maybe knee shield's something else. Oh, but then this is my first ever butterfly sweep, and it actually worked. So that was awesome. I saw her come towards me, and I was like, "Oh, butterfly sweep opportunity!" And when I did it, I said, "Oh, Samina, that was my first butterfly sweep," and she was like, "Oh, cool, man." So then we took like a couple seconds to enjoy the butterfly sweep and got back into it. But yeah, it's always a great feeling when you try something out and it works. You know, it wasn't the most beautiful butterfly sweep in the world, but it was a butterfly sweep and it was a sweep. You know, so I was very pleased that I was able to hit the butterfly sweep with some sort of effectiveness. Yeah, so after that, I basically was out of the guard and I was into more of a passing position. And so I passed, and I managed to get this isn't quite taking the back here, but what Samina did, which was really interesting, was she turtled up, and I noticed that her elbows were inside her legs. And I didn't realize what a strong position that is, but I was trying to like, get my arms in and grab a lapel or something like that, but I literally could not get my arms in. And I was using quite a lot of strength, and as soon as I pulled out, she popped up again. And I really didn't have anything useful that I was grabbing onto. I was trying to grab that lapel, maybe go into like a choke from the back. But now I'm up here. I was able to pull her back and get the back here. But I still really don't have anything to attack here. She's doing a very good job of holding my arm down. So I'm really just, and here we go, back into turtle again. And back into a position where I really can't get anything. But what I was trying to make sure I wasn't doing was getting off the back and then letting her kind of spin around, and not have the back anymore. But this was something I learned today from Samina, was that when you turtle up, if you keep your elbows inside the knees, that's an awesomely strong position, and they're not going to be able to get anything from you. So I tried to pull her back down, and she managed to get up, and now we're in a sort of open guard position. And yeah, man, like I'm surprised we've been going this long. It's been like 10 minutes of solid rolling, but you can see we're both pretty tired at this point. But yeah, it's really cool to be in a gym where all the other jiu-jitsu players are really fit and also really keen to roll and do some good rolling. I went to a couple of gyms before I found this gym, and it felt a little bit more like a self-defense class. And like, I'm not knocking self-defense classes, that's cool, but what I'm really interested in is learning about the competition jiu-jitsu and maybe eventually doing a competition and doing some rolling and all of that fun stuff. I'm not really sure what we're doing here. This is a weird position. I think what we're both doing is we're both trying to leg lock each other in a very white belt way. But yeah, I think we both gave up on that pretty much straight away. Definitely need to learn a little bit more about the leg locks, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for me to learn quite a bit of stuff there. I feel like I have my positions where I'm comfortable, and I feel like I know a bit of open guard. Oh, all of a sudden Samina started swinging her arms, so I thought I'd swing my arms too for a second, just chill out for a second, and then start again. But yeah, like I was saying, like I definitely think that I have a set of moves and like a set of positions that feel comfortable. The closed guard feels like somewhere where I'm not threatened. It feels like somewhere I want to be. I don't necessarily have that many strong moves from there to get the submission. But if I am lucky enough to get in a position where I can do a sweep and I get on top, I feel like that's the next place that I try to go. So it starts with me pulling guard, hopefully sweeping up to mount, or maybe go to mount or scramble to side control if I don't pull guard straight away. Maybe like pass the guard, go to side control, get to side control or get to mount, and then go for the Americana. That feels like the right thing for me to do. I've had a little bit of practice doing triangles, but I think one of the main issues with me in triangles is I don't like opening my guard. So I don't want to put my foot on their hip, swivel my body around, and then get a nice tight triangle. I try to triangle them like from the front, which doesn't work as well. And then I get my arm around, like my leg around. If I'm lucky enough to get my leg around, then it becomes an issue for me to actually tightly lock that up. So I think I have quite a lot of work to do with building up my confidence in opening the guard and realizing that, okay, you can open your guard and they're not necessarily just going to jump out of your guard and put you in side control or put you in mount. I can just chill out. As long as I've got maybe a lapel grip or like, yeah, a lapel grip and a sleeve grip, I think that would be like maybe the ideal thing to go for. As long as I have that or something like that, I think I should be trying to convince myself that it's okay for me to open the guard and then go for something like a triangle or go for maybe even a different kind of sweep. Or maybe even one of those arm bars where you put both of their arms together and then swing your legs kind of like you're going to do a triangle, but put your legs in front of their head and go for an armbar. I think all of those are like viable opportunities. But like I said before, I think I really have to focus on just making sure that I'm comfortable opening my guard. And if I can make my hips a little bit more flexible, I definitely think that it can't hurt. If I can just get my hips back a little bit more, that'll give me more room for error when I swing my legs over. So I think that's what I'm going to be trying to do now to like improve my game. Now that I realize that I'm a guard player, yeah, it's time to start learning the systems from the guard. So by this point, you can see that me and Samina were basically just totally wrecked. And we decided to call it a day there. But yeah, really awesome roll. I think that was probably the longest roll I've ever done so far. It was like a 14-minute roll or something like that. So after that, we went to the local bar, which is just downstairs, and all got porn star martinis, which is cool. This is a really good gym for socializing because quite a few of the core members of the gym like to get a drink after the class and just hang out, talk about the class, talk about what's coming up and all that kind of thing. But anyway, yep, that's all the footage I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any tips or any hints for me in the comments if you think there's anything that could help me improve or anything like that. And make sure you subscribe if you want to join along on this journey with me. But it's been a really cool journey so far, and I'm really hoping I can make it all the way to black belt and document the whole thing. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.